It is time for the one and only, the premier, the only official podcast of Pro Rodeo. Your Chute Bosses are ready, so let's give it a go and talk some rodeo.
Hello everyone, and welcome into another special NFR edition of the Chute Bosses. Tanner Barth, Tim O'Connell. We want to thank our sponsor, Husky Trailer Parts Company, for making this show possible. And what a night it was in round number 3 here in Las Vegas. And Tim, we got to start it off because I think you might need to go put some money in the blackjack table, or maybe roulette. I don't know what it is, but you pick Jess Pope. He comes out. He does exactly what you told me he was going to do.
It was a no-brainer. When I seen that draw come out and he had night faded, you couldn't. If you could pick your own horse and you had the number 1 overall draw, that was the horse you were going to pick. That horse came from the TV pen down into the eliminators. So you already knew going off that draw sheet, he was one of the best horses in the world. He's just really hard to ride that good against all them really flashy, showy horses.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they drop him to the eliminator pin. When you have a chance to get on a horse that has that much timing, that much air time against these other horses that are lower to the ground, have these tricks back and forth, hit you in the back, and have all the difficulty, it was a no-brainer that when Jess Pope, world champion, 3-time average champion, draws him, he was going to take advantage. And that was really his first shot to get things started at the NFR.
Tim, I want to know how much confidence and how much does that change things for a guy like Jess?
It changes everything because now you've inserted yourself into the average.
Third in the average.
Third in the average. A go around underneath you, going into the next 4 nights, which are going to be fun horses.
Yeah,
Tomorrow,
no doubt.
that's their hoppers. Tomorrow, it's going to be a day off in retrospect.
Yeah, day off.
It's your day off. But it gives you the confidence to move forward to say to yourself, now I'm in the fight. I'm on the board in a big way. He's won in this 1 round win. He's won a lot more money than the guys that have just placed in the other 2 rounds. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a big confidence boost. He's put himself up there in that top 5, which is going to move him in the back 5 of the draw in the buck order, which is also huge for a couple extra points here and there. The last 5 guys out statistically will place higher than the guys that are scattered around in the front 10. Now it's time to let it go. He has got a huge gap to make up to catch Keenan, but he's got 7 more rounds to do it. There's $300,000 still up for grabs in just day money, and like typical Jess Pope fashion, he's now playing in the average.
Yep, and that's going to make a big difference. And you mentioned Keenan Hayes right there, talking a little bit about him. He comes out and does his job tonight. Maybe not the horsepower to win the round, but, he battled through and he found a way to make some more money, and he's just sitting there at the top right now and trying to see where he goes in the next 7 days.
This is typical Keenan Hayes of what we come to see and expect out of him, watching him over the course of the last 2 years. He just doesn't make mistakes on anything. He's just a little machine. He goes out there, he goes and does his job. It's not always the flashiest, so he doesn't get these great extravagant round wins, but he's 85, he's 86, he's 84.
Stay right in the fight.
Stayed right in the fight, stay right where he needs to be in the average. And if they run him something under there where he can really open up and expose himself, he will. But for right now, he's just taking care of business. Now, with Rocker being out of the average, he's got a huge cushion right now to play with.
He does.
So he just has to take care of business and hope that a Jess Pope doesn't get hot.
Yeah. Somebody rattles off a couple round wins in a row, and they're right back in the hunt as well.
Yeah, I mean, his biggest threats kind of took themselves out tonight in a way. Bradley Miller, it gets a 62 points. He falls way out of the average.
Yeah.
Cole Franks was pretty far down there in the world title race. Him being number 1 in the average doesn't really play that big of a difference when you're sitting number 2 in the average. Jess, on the other hand, was the next closest person. Leighton Berry still hasn't won a check yet.
Yeah.
I look for him to start picking things up. He just needs a chance in this round. But it gives you some big breathing room. 3 up, 3 down, 3 checks. And the guy that was going to be your biggest competition is at minimum $80,000 in this average, not a player.
Behind you. So it's going to be fun to see how it shakes out. And I may have to start calling Keenan Hayes the little machine. I like that. That's a good nickname.
It's a good. I had that nickname for a long time. I ain't willing to give it up yet.
Now you're the big machine.
The big machine.
Let's talk about another a big guy, maybe a little bit bigger than you. That's big Will Lummus. I mean, the dude is just moved himself to number 1 in the world standings, wins another round. It's 2 out of the last 3 rounds for Will Lummus, and he looks like he's just cool, calm, and collected right now. And a guy that has himself in a shot. He's leading the average, but still a lot of rodeo left to go, and it can change quick in the steer wrestling with the a broken barrier, a missed steer, that type of thing. But right now he's on a roll here in the Thomas and Mack.
He is, and he's a monster. Big Will Lummus. You don't get Big Will Lummus as a nickname for nothing. And when he gets a hold of him, he does slam him down. He's been in world title positions in the past and come up short. And
last year especially, it was tough on him.
It was tough, but you hold on to that. You put that chip on your shoulder. You learn from the mistakes. It's one step back, two steps forward.
Yeah.
This is the start that he needs to progress himself over the next 7 nights to get that first gold buckle. I think everyone has expected Will Lummus to have a gold buckle by now, and he expects himself to be a world champion by now. He's a great guy, great family man. I mean, I see big things coming for the next 7 days. 2 up out of 3, and he's just going out there and making great runs. Yeah. Even yesterday, that was a great run yesterday. It just didn't win the round.
Yeah, and he's right there in the average, as you said. You know, a golden opportunity for Will Lummus to come out and do that. I asked him if he was going to be a bouncer later tonight because he looks like he could bounce at a nightclub as well. And let's move on to the team roping. This was an interesting one because obviously you still have a lot of guys, you know, trying to fight in the average, and team roping is maybe one of the ones where you can miss 1 or 2 and still place pretty high in the average. But we have a couple of guys that come out tonight, Caleb Driggers, Junior Negata. On the other side, Destin Agaskiza, Levi Lord, they missed in those early rounds. And so you see those guys just come out and say, we got nothing to lose now. And they're roping free, and they come out and tie with the 3.7-second run.
And what a great round.
Yeah, it was a great round of
tie-down roping. Yeah. And it was only a matter of time between those guys getting on the board. And if you give them the freedom to go sling ropes like that, they're going to do it. And, you know, sometimes, and, you know, I had a conversation with Rocker last night after the wow factor that happened in round 2. If this were to happen in round 8, round 7, this is devastating to you because you kind of know, like,
take you out of the world title race.
You're out of the world title race. When it happens early, you have nothing to lose.
Still a lot to play.
There's a lot to play. You're just looking at ground money every day. That's all you have to look at, and you got 8 nights to go win $33,000 a night just to go rope as fast as you possibly can. That's what I like to see out of the team roping. When they just shuck the monkey off the back, what's done is done. Let's go win go-arounds. That's what both of those teams did, and those are dangerous guys to be roping free.
Yep, no doubt about it. And this kind of feels like deja vu. We talked about the world champs showing up on night number 1. Here we are again on night number 3, and guess who's in the winner's circle again? It's 4-time world champion Zeke Thurston.
Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me one bit. Miss Valley, Zeke Thurston.
Yeah, great horse,
Great horse. I mean, you cannot give Zeke Thurston a great horse and not expect him not to win.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, what can you say about Zeke Thurston? I'm telling you, he's the greatest bronc rider in our eyes right now. We're just not, he doesn't get the appreciation because Billy Ettbauer won 51 go-around wins. Yeah. And in this era, to be as dominant as Zeke Thurston is crazy. The bronc riding is as stacked as it's ever been. 15th to the first man in the world could win a go-around at any given moment. And Zeke walks in there with an aura about
He does.
it. And he's not cocky.
No, he's
about
not really he's not even a guy that talks a lot, you know?
No.
He's just kind of cool, calm.
And that's the thing. You would think a guy that it's as accoladed as Zeke Thurston, he might be a little bit more.
Puff his chest out a little bit.
Might look down your nose at you. Zeke is as humble as a champion as we've seen since Billy Ettbauer. And his dominance, his reign, he ain't done winning rounds at the national finals yet.
Yeah, I guarantee with that, because Zeke Thurston's just one of those guys that comes out, does his job. You know, I ask him, you know, what does it feel like right now to know that you're one of the best? He's like, I don't even really think about that. But it's tough to think about that when you're going down the road, I'm sure.
You can't think about something like that. You can't think
you're
about
gonna get left behind.
Yeah, you can't think about legacy when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't think about when your career is over. Think about the right now, how I'm going to build that up. And that's the mindset he has. He's slowed down his rodeo, and he has a beautiful family.
Yeah.
And so he has slowed down as many rodeos he goes to, but the rodeos he goes to, he makes them count. He shows up with the intent to be there and the intent to win. And that's when you see he wants to be here. He wants to be the world champion. No different than what he just did at the Canadian National.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when he shows up there, he's got his family with him. He's happy, he's healthy, and he's one of the best bronc riders of all time.
Yeah, he may have given me the quote of the night tonight. I said, Zeke, do you like being the hunter? He says, I do, and I'm a pretty good shot. I love it, man.
That's a quote right there.
That is.
That needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah, it should. I'm sure the people would buy it out there. So let's move on to our next event, and let's go to the tie-down roping. How about Ty Harris? The kid from San Angelo, Texas, comes out and gets the job done. And, you know, he needed that. Maybe not the start to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo that he wanted, but he comes out in what was a really favorable pin of calves for these tie-down ropers and lays one on in 6.9 seconds.
I mean, that should not surprise you that Ty Harris can sling one in 6
such
seconds.
Fast hands.
And he's got such fast hands. He can put it on him quick. I mean, the San Angelo gunslinger, I mean, he can win at any given moment. He is just that type of guy. Does it always work out for him on a consistent basis? No, because gunslingers don't always win.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, more times than not, they do win. And that's what got Ty Harrison into a world title race to begin with, is runs like this that he can put on. He's got those fast hands. He can put it on there. He's riding great horses, and he can get the job done in under 7 seconds, more times than not.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about that race is we talked about Riley Webb. He didn't win the round tonight. He finished second. He now takes the number 1 spot in the world standings.
Yeah. I mean, great job.
And Shad plays tonight as well.
Shad plays tonight as well. The drama's thickening up. Yeah. And that might be the best race we're watching right now is the tie-down roping, for sure. And like we've said the last 2 nights, Riley is doing his darndest to show people this was not
a little bit,
pushing the pace in a big way, in a way we've never seen it.
Yeah.
In a sophomore season, coming off a world title, sometimes you get lax. Like you've accomplished a lifelong
slump.
The sophomore slump, because, and it happens to world champions more times than not, because you come off that world championship, you've hit the pinnacle of your sport, you have accomplished all your dreams. It's so hard to come back and repeat.
It is.
But that little chip on his shoulder from the Asterix of Houston last year, and not having just an amazing finals last year, he is showing you why he's a world champion and the highest caliber roper.
That thing's going to be decided in round 10. I can already feel it.
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
A race that might not be decided in round 10. It may be decided. But Haley Kinzel's on a generational run right now in the barrel racing. 3rd straight round win tonight. She's won $110,000 now at the Wrangler NFR in 3 nights. Talk about a pretty good start here to the Thomas and Mack.
I'm telling you what, someday I'm going to walk in here with my sister shirt on. I mean, come on.
I know.
Come
my
on.
gosh.
I mean, put him at the bottom of the ground. I'm going to bet on him every time. Sister is on a different level right now. And these girls are fantastic. The rest of the field is fantastic.
They're making good runs.
They're making great runs. But what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're making great runs and they're just blowing arena records out of the water? I mean, and she's running effortlessly.
Yeah.
And like even on night 1, like there was the comment that she said to Janie Johnson, like, sister is trying more. She's cutting these barrels tighter than what Haley even likes her to do.
Yeah, she said they had to work on that tonight because she was getting a little too close.
Yeah. I mean, you have a horse that knows the game and knows how to win and wants to win, and you have Haley trying to back her off.
Yeah.
You got your rider trying to back you off to slow you up a little bit so we play this average game and not knock a barrel down.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy the dominance that horse is putting out, and the rider. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame team. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
She's doing amazing things. This horse is, I can't say enough about her. Like I said, fangirl.
Yeah. Night number 1, top of the ground. Night number 2, she was bottom of the ground. Tonight she goes out 12th. Doesn't matter right now. Nothing's slowing down Haley Kinzel and sister. So that's going to be a world title race we keep our eye on as we head forward. And then let's wrap things up here with the bull riding. How about Clayton Sellers, the I guess what you would call a veteran? He's one of the older bull riders here, but he showed tonight that he's right in that world title race as well.
He is, and like we've said the last 2 nights, we don't know who the front runner is.
Yeah, Josh Frost got bucked off tonight for the first time.
He did get bucked off, and Clayton made a really, really good ride.
Bull ride.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing about that ride that he was set stone, had him knocked out. Away from his hand, had him bowed over 1 jump, had his feet moving back off of his rope, and Clayton just pulls it out, just jumps the rope, puts his feet back, sits up, and that was one of them rides that you didn't know if he was going to be there the next round.
Yeah.
It was just, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Oh, my gosh. Look at the clock.
And it was close.
It's close. And that's a gritty bull ride right there. That's a guy that wants to be in this world title race, wants to win a go-around, wants to win the world, wants to win the average. He hasn't had the start that he wanted to. But like you said, sometimes you just got to shake the monkey off your back, just like Jess Pope. You don't have the first 2 good rounds. You come out in night 3, knock one out of the park, you're in this thing right here, right now.
Yeah, here you go, especially in the bull riding with the ground money up for grabs. And we mentioned that I had a chance to sit down and talk with Will Lummus. So we're going to go to that right now, and we'll hear what Will has to say about the go-around win and heading to the South Point here yet again. So you talked about it a little bit before we were on air here, that this is the best start you maybe ever had to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo. Why do you think that is? Preparation beforehand, or things that just kind of fell your way so far?
You know, same prep, man. I always leave home for 2 weeks before the national final start, before we have to get here that Sunday before. Man, I prepared the same. It's just, honestly, I think the outlook on it, just we're here having fun. We're here to, catch steers, throw steers down, and we'll keep it simple at 3 steps, and it's, sharp on the start, tight head catch, and big finish. And we keep doing those things. They keep drawing us the good ones. Hopefully it'll go our way.
You ready to head down to the South Point again? How fun is that to go down there and have the round buckle ceremony?
It's cool, man. We get to take some family down there. My wife and my mom and dad are here, and my mother-in-law's here, and I've got some other family coming in at the end of the week, so hopefully we can get them maybe to the South Point too. So, it's fun, man. We just go down there and we'll have us a drink and celebrate a little bit, and come back, eat a sandwich, and go to bed. I mean, it's just, again, keeping it simple.
Well, I was going to ask what time your shift was as a bouncer at the nightclub.
Well, honestly, speaking of nightclubs, I'm supposed to go over there and do a deal for Casey Jones over there at Rodeo
Snoop Dogg?
Vegas. At Teton and over there for, I guess, the JB Mooney deal or whatever.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm supposed
gotcha.
to go over there tonight, so I'm not going to make that. So maybe they don't get too mad at me.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a pretty good excuse.
So hopefully they can get me replaced, and we'll see how it goes.
Well,
on the rest of the week.
Yeah, congratulations, Will. Keep doing it, man, and hopefully we'll keep chatting with you here in the press room.
Yeah, thank you.
There it is. Will Lummus wins round number 3 of the 2024 Wrangler National Finals Rodeo presented by Teton Ridge.
Have you been searching for trailer parts? Check out HuskyTrailers.com for their huge selection of in-stock trailer parts. From axle kits to lighting, wheels and brakes to suspension, we have it all covered. For 62 years, Husky's been keeping their customers traveling down the road safely. Shop online at HuskyTrailers.com and use code NFR24 for 10% off. That's HuskyTrailers.com, where everything ships for free. Husky's proud to be an official partner of PRCA and the NFR. Husky Trailer Parts, generations of trust delivered.
Cowboying is in our blood. Cowboying is in our bruises. It's in our rain-soaked jackets. In our calloused hands, tested by barbed wire and rope. Our mud-stained boots to the crown of our resist-all hat. You live out west for even the shortest time, and there's one thing you learn. You can't pretend out here. Resist-all. We live it every day.
And you could tell Will Lummus, he had that thought in his head that this is the best start to a Wrangler National Finals Rodeo that I've ever had. And he's starting to, I think, feel that momentum and feel that confidence a little bit. And it can be a difference maker for a cowboy when they start to get that feeling of things going good. But you also, on the other side, you can know that things could go bad one night from now.
100%. But confidence and momentum at the Wrangler National Finals,
dangerous thing.
You can't buy that.
Yeah.
You couldn't take all your NFR earnings and buy something like that. That gives you that motivation that my horse is working perfect. I feel great. Don't matter what they draw for me, run them in. I'm going to put them down as fast as I can possibly can. You can't buy confidence. You can't buy momentum. And when you get a guy like Will Lummus on a roll, you don't stop that freight train.
Yep, it's not slowing down anytime soon. You mentioned being comfortable. I'm kind of comfortable here in our Runyon's Fine Furniture, so we're going to wrap this thing up, Tim, and we'll make sure to see all of you tomorrow night. Round number 4 coming from the Thomas & Mack Center. Can't wait to see that world title race is starting to shake out. We might know who's a favorite to win a world title after tomorrow night. But that's going to do it for another special edition of the Chute Bosses. Until then, keep on rodeoing.
He's addicted to danger, ruled by passion and pride. To pain and fear he's no stranger, but his lust needs to be satisfied. Hooked on an 8-second ride.